So we've had a couple more people join us. Welcome. Looks like we might be a smaller group today, which has got its advantages too with our kind of Q&A part. So there's probably be lots of opportunity to ask questions and have conversation there. We have a good amount of interest today. I think several people are going to be looking forward to that recording after. So it is 10 o'clock. So we will get started, and if people come in, that's just great. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Shelley Dallas Smith, the Finding Balance Project Coordinator, along with Marla Zubiak, our admin and tech support, who's hiding off camera right now. And we're from the Injury Prevention Center, and I will be your host for today for our Falls Prevention Month webinar, which is sponsored by Alberta Blue Cross. We are very pleased to offer you this excellent learning opportunity to help guide exercise specialists and other physical activity program leaders and such to better support their senior participants in meeting their overall social and physical needs by creating welcoming, inclusive, engaging, meaningful, motivating, and an overall positive experience. We'll just have our land acknowledgement first before we get started. The Injury Prevention Center and the University of Alberta are primarily located on lands that are now known as part of Treaties 6, 7, and 8 and homeland of the Métis. We respect the sovereignty, lands, histories, and languages, knowledge systems, and culture of all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit nations. And we are pleased to share, like in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, that Finding Balance has partnered with KTC Tribal Council to transform several of our falls prevention resources to better meet the needs of elders in falls prevention. And just so you know, there was a slide up earlier, but I'll just say it again, that the webinar will be recorded. Your microphone will be muted and your camera will be disabled for the entire webinar. Through the chat function, you will be able to ask the organizers, which is Marla, any technical issues that you may be having. And at the end of the presentation, there will be time for questions. So please use the Q&A function for all your questions. And then I'll be reading a selection of those questions and facilitating that conversation. And at the end of the survey, Marla will be posting our survey if you could please take some time to do that. So today we have three speakers, and I'm just going to start with introducing our first speaker. So it's my pleasure to introduce Bobbie-Ann Craig, who is a doctoral candidate at the University of Calgary within the Faculty of Kinesiology. She received her Master of Science in Health, Exercise, and Sport Psychology at the University of Calgary and her Bachelor of Science in Psychology at the University of Alberta. Her research focuses on psychosocial, for example, social support, self-compassion, aspects of physical activity in adult populations. With a background in psychology and kinesiology, Bobbie-Ann is particularly interested in how evidence-based strategies can help fitness professionals foster supportive and motivating environments that enhance participation and well-being. So welcome, Bobbie-Ann.
Thank you so much, Shelley. Can everyone see my slides before I get started here? Yeah, awesome.
Yes, yes.
Great. So good morning, everyone. As Shelley mentioned, my name's Bobbie-Ann, and I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Calgary. Today, I'll be talking to you about how fitness professionals can support physical activity participation through the use of social support strategies. And just to kind of show the scope of this project and contribution that's gone into this work that I'll be sharing about, I thought I would show our collaborators here. So we have four main sites that this research is being conducted at. So the University of Calgary, the University of British Columbia, the University of Toronto, and the University of Montreal. And we also have a number of community partners on this project, a few of whom will be speaking later on in the webinar. In this presentation, I'll provide an overview of a research project we've been working on over the last 3 years, and I'll first share findings from 2 review studies we conducted that identified 9 categories of social support strategies used in physical activity settings. And then I'll talk about phase 2 of our project and highlight the pilot training that we developed to translate these findings into practice. And finally, I'll briefly share about phase 3, which is currently ongoing, and let you know how you'll be able to find the final version of the social support training once it is available to the public. In terms of learning objectives, by the end of this presentation, you should be able to describe the role of social support in promoting physical activity, participation, and engagement, identify those 9 categories of social support strategies used in physical activity contexts, and understand how research findings can be translated into practical training approaches for fitness professionals. So, physical activity can provide opportunities for adults to experience social support. And social support is defined as interpersonal interactions that help another person by contributing to positive outcomes. So, for example, well-being. Social support and the relationships that can form in a physical activity setting are important for motivating people to engage in and sustain participation in physical activity. And this support can also contribute to a person's social well-being and feelings of connection and belonging. Fitness professionals can be important sources of social support and physical activity. They can directly provide social support to physical activity participants by the way they teach through providing personalized feedback and modifications, by showing interest in and getting to know participants, and starting conversations, just as a few examples. They are also important for facilitating support between participants. So, grouping or introducing people who may have similar interests and facilitating group discussions that help participants get to know one another. But even though fitness professionals are important social support providers, they rarely receive training on how to provide and facilitate social support in their role specifically. So, in order to teach fitness professionals how to do this, it's important for us to identify specific behaviors or strategies that are experienced as supportive to adults in physical activity settings. So, for this research project as a whole, we aim to develop an evidence-based social support training for fitness professionals who teach physical activity to adults. In order to do this, we reviewed the literature to document the various strategies that they can use in physical activity to support participants. So, in order to do that, we first conducted 2 review studies so we could review the literature that already exists out there on social support and physical activity contexts. And that includes group physical activity as well as one-on-one settings. And we wanted to capture social support strategies across many groups of adults. And the majority of the studies that we did capture focused on older adults or adults living with a chronic illness, or so for example, cancer or Parkinson's. Through these studies, we identified a host of social support strategies that we grouped into 9 categories based on the type of social support or the supportive function that they served. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail on the following slides. The first review study has been published in a journal called Kinesiology Review. So if you are interested in reading more, feel free to scan the QR code and it should take you to the paper, or you can email me and I can share the paper with you. So now I'll walk you through our findings from these review studies, and I've provided the exhaustive list of supportive strategies on each slide, but rather than just read them all out to you, I'll have the list up while I talk about the findings a bit more generally, and you can download the slides afterward with all this information. One note that I'll make before I jump in is that our studies captured a wide variety of physical activity settings, types, programs. So some fitness professionals may not be able to use some of these strategies depending on their role or the program or class they're instructing. So just something to keep in mind as I talk about these results. So, the first support category is feeling welcomed and included. And this focuses on strategies that help participants feel comfortable within the physical activity context. When fitness professionals help participants become comfortable with the program itself and other people in the program, it can be supportive, particularly for participants who need a bit more assistance. It's important that fitness professionals are close and available to answer questions or explain the activity further so participants are comfortable and familiar with all of the elements of the program. Engendering trust is also important for creating comfort, and that can be attained, for example, by instructors sharing their credentials with participants and being mindful of language and actions. So, for example, trying to avoid ageist language. Facilitating initial social interactions is also critical for helping participants feel welcomed and included at the beginning of a program. And keeping these interactions going throughout the activity fosters a continuing feeling of inclusion. Making physical activity fun includes supportive strategies that enhance or emphasize enjoyment in the physical activity context. Different facets of the activity, so the physical activity itself, the social interactions, these are found to be enjoyable elements of the context. So fitness professionals can set the tone for making physical activity fun by highlighting the social aspects and atmosphere. Recognizing and utilizing the potential fun of the social atmosphere is especially important to emphasize in group physical activities to motivate people to keep attending. In some cases, often we found this in older adult research, being able to interact with others is a primary reason for participants wanting to continue attending physical activity programming. And engaging in laughter, joking, banter, that's particularly crucial for participants having fun. And fitness professionals play a really key role in setting expectations or norms for these types of interactions because they're leaders in the physical activity environment. Modeling physical activity describes fitness professionals and other exercisers serving as role models or demonstrating what's possible through physical activity participation. Fitness professionals and other exercisers can act as role models through their engagement in the activity or through their interactions with participants and how they communicate about their physical activity participation or their lifestyle. Other exercisers in the setting that participants can identify with. So, for example, maybe they're similar in age or share a common illness or disease. They can model being physically active and coping with ailments or disease by showing what they're able to do or accomplish in the physical activity setting, despite life challenges that they may be facing. Intentionally modeling physical activity and sharing information about one's physically active lifestyle without invoking comparisons or competition can enhance the social support that participants receive. Providing information includes strategies which share information with participants about physical activity opportunities, maintaining participation, and the benefits of being active. So, fitness professionals can be supportive by providing information to help participants engage in the current physical activity or by sharing other opportunities and resources for remaining active. Providing reminders and communicating regularly is supportive, particularly with participants or particular populations who need more reminders. So, for example, we found this in research with adults with cognitive impairment. Information can be especially helpful when the support provider tailors or personalize it to the recipient's goals or needs or interests specifically. And these personal recommendations that come from instructors who participants trust or have maybe developed that previous relationship with are particularly supportive. Encouragement as a form of social support includes messages and behaviors that enhance confidence and prompt participants to do or try something in the physical activity setting. So, fitness professionals support participants to engage in physical activity through their tailored exercise instruction and through group or individualized encouragement about the activity. And fitness professionals can encourage physical activity behavior when they consider participants' specific needs, abilities, past physical activity experiences so that they're able to tailor their recommendations to set participants up for success in the activity. Providing encouragement when participants are attempting a challenging pursuit that they have the ability to accomplish, but without pressuring them, is supportive. And sharing success stories of similar others can also instill confidence and support for engaging in the activity. Mastery feedback highlights positive responses that focus on participants' personal improvement and effort and limits judgments based on comparisons with others in competition. So during physical activity, fitness professionals should vocalize positive and individualized feedback, praise, and reinforcement. This is commonly known, as well as emphasize and remind participants in group physical activity specifically that it is a non-competitive environment and to try to focus on themselves. Fitness professionals are instrumental in supporting participants' mastery. We found that in the research by assisting with setting measurable group or individual goals that are specifically focused on effort and improvement. Autonomy support, that describes support which encourages participants' volition, choice, voice, and minimizes that controlling behavior. So, tailoring a class to align with participants' physical activity goals and incorporating their ideas and feedback can support their autonomy. Fitness professionals should also follow the participant's lead and go at the participant's pace, and that can enhance their agency or control that they feel over their behavior. Reminding participants to not do more than they feel that they're able to do at that moment can also foster that autonomy and be supportive. Ultimately, it's important to tailor or modify reminders or suggestions that align with participants' perspectives and goals and needs and preferences, but to also ensure that this isn't being done in a pressuring or a controlling way. Emotional support. So, this highlights strategies that show care and compassion and communicate that social support is available if needed. Fitness professionals can establish an emotionally supportive atmosphere in physical activity context by demonstrating kind and sincere qualities towards participants and express concern and compassion for their feelings. Fitness professionals that allow space for support that occurs more organically among participants can make the environment more conducive to shared learning and support and experiences. When participants might need a little extra support, fitness professionals can be more hands-on and serve as those social coordinators. So, directing them to appropriate support, whether that's within or outside of the group. For adults facing challenges or adversity, checking in to see how they're doing and letting them know that they're cared about and missed when they don't come to the physical activity helps them feel emotionally supported. We found this particularly in the cancer research. And other people in the class who maybe have faced similar adversities can provide emotional support through their shared experience or understanding. And then finally, we have fostering social connections. So this includes strategies that create a climate where social connections can evolve. So instructors can do this by structuring activities so participants work with others who share similar interests or have similar abilities and try to keep those partnerships consistent over time or throughout the course of a program, for example. They can also build on opportunities for conversation, whether that's before or after the session, during group discussions, or in the online setting through things like breakout rooms or casual check-ins. Social connections can also evolve when the environment promotes belonging and inclusion. So, fitness professionals should use inclusive language that emphasizes that the group is a community, encourages everyone to be involved, and creates an atmosphere where people get to know each other. To maintain a positive and respectful environment, they should also try to redirect or manage conversations when needed and handle any conflicts in a professional manner if it comes to that. Fitness professionals can also encourage participants to take those connections beyond the program by being active together outside of class or maybe even exploring new opportunities as a group. So overall, the goal is to create spaces where people don't just show up to move, but also to connect, and where physical activity becomes something that they're looking forward to because of the relationships and the sense of community that can come with it. So now that we have the findings from these two reviews, that includes a host of supportive strategies, we wanted to start creating a social support training that fitness professionals could take to learn about these different types of strategies. So to do this, we conducted focus groups to get feedback from fitness professionals as well as adult physical activity participants on some initial content ideas that we had developed for a social support training. So we created a document that included the social support strategies organized into those 9 categories that I shared with you. And we also came up with an example learning activity for each one. So, an example of something that we might include in the larger training so that fitness professionals can apply the knowledge that they're learning to their role and work. So, I have an example here of our first social support category, feeling welcomed and included. And you can see we provided a list of all the supportive strategies and then an example learning activity. So this one's about being mindful, about language to avoid stereotypes and be inclusive. So then we provided a brief description of what this activity might look like in the training. So we'd provide an overview of principles for choosing inclusive language, verbal behaviors, body language, and then the exercise would have instructors think about the physical activity setting that they work in specifically and brainstorm ways they can contribute to making the setting inclusive for the specific group or people that they work with. And then we would have them identify one key takeaway, one thing that's particularly helpful that they could take away from the exercise and implement in their class. So we had something like this for each of the 9 categories for people in the focus groups to give their feedback on. We had 14 focus groups that we conducted across those 4 research sites that I mentioned at the start with 50 participants. So this included 25 fitness professionals, that included instructors and physical activity program administrators, and 25 adult physical activity participants. And the fitness professionals had worked in the fitness industry for a range of 1 to 38 years. And the physical activity participants also had a wide range of experience participating in group physical activity, and that varied from 6 weeks to 40 years. So we got a lot of unique perspectives. And the feedback that we received from those focus groups helped us to inform the development of our pilot version of the social support training. So this pilot version of the training was put into an online format, and it was created for fitness professionals working with adults generally. So it included background information, the practical social support strategies, reflective exercises, as well as activities that focused on customizing the strategies to the fitness professional's unique role. And it was created as a self-directed course so that participants would be able to move through it at their own pace and rewatch videos if they wanted. In this training, we emphasized again that not all strategies are going to fit or be used in all contexts. So we provided a wide range of strategies that could be used in various roles, but we don't expect fitness professionals to implement every single strategy highlighted in the training. Our hope is that the instructors will learn strategies that maybe they weren't already using or informed about, and then be able to have a toolkit of strategies that they can use when they need to. So, for example, some strategies might only be used in response to a participant having a specific need. So, those ones we would expect to see fitness professionals using a little bit less frequently. And we also tried to provide many examples throughout the training that varied so that it could be applicable to instructors who have differing roles, teach different types of physical activity, or work with specific populations of adults and teach in different contexts or modes of delivery. So, for example, online, we had some specific examples for that mode of delivery. Here's just a screenshot of the pilot version of the training to give you an idea of what the fitness professionals would see. So it's very focused on content for this pilot training, and we had an introduction page, and along the side you can see those categories of supportive strategies. And once you clicked into a category, there were videos. So for the introduction and reflection, the supportive strategies, application activity, and then a summary and reflection for each social support category. And here's an example of the videos that they would see. So they included text as well as someone that was narrating the slides. And anyone taking the training would receive all this information as well, and the slides from the videos in a PDF format that they could download while they were doing the training. So, in the final phase of this project, which is currently in progress, we recruited fitness professionals to take this pilot social support training we developed, and they were then observed teaching classes by our research team so we could see what strategies they were implementing or not implementing. And they also participated in interviews so we could get their thoughts and feedback on this training that we had developed. We also interviewed participants from each instructor's class so we could get their perspective as well on their instructor's provision of social support. For this phase, I only have information from our research site right now because it is in progress. But at U of C, we interviewed 7 instructors and 1 administrator of a physical activity program, and then 21 physical activity participants. And so we also observed the 7 instructors teaching a physical activity class. And after we finished conducting the interviews and observations, everyone who participated received a summary sheet of what we changed in the training based on what we learned. And they had the opportunity to do a follow-up interview to give feedback on that. So we're in the process of conducting those follow-up interviews right now. And so, because this final phase is currently ongoing, I don't have any results to share with you today, but we are using those results to inform our final version of the social support training. And these results, along with the results from our other research sites, will inform that final version of the online training. And it will be free and accessible to all fitness professionals. It's going to be provided in English and French. And we're putting it on a platform called Pressbooks. So we're able to make it look a bit prettier, add pictures, those kinds of things, not so content heavy. If you would like to be notified when that training becomes available, you can email me. I have my contact information on the next slide. And we anticipate that the training will be launched sometime in the first quarter of 2026. I know that's a bit vague, but thank you so much for listening and being here with us today. Before I pass it on to Andy, I'd just like to quickly acknowledge the funding we received from the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada. That's why we were able to do this research. And like I mentioned, you can reach out to me directly if you want to be notified when that training's available, or you would like to me to send you any of our review papers, or if you have any questions in general, please feel free to email me. And yeah, you can check out our lab's Instagram or website if you'd like to learn more about our past and our ongoing research. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Bobby Ann. This is just really exciting work that you're doing and research and that whole translation piece into practice. So, um, yeah, we look forward to hearing more about that
Thanks.
as you proceed through phase three. So we're just going to move along to our next speaker is Andy Kitchen, and Andy is a clinical exercise physiologist, certified strength and conditioning specialist, and Fitness Alberta leader and trainer. Andy has been a recreation program specialist supervising community fitness programs for 18 years and is also the creator for the City of Calgary Gentle Fitness Program model. Known for her high energy, she has a passion for creating inclusive and fun-filled fitness environments that offer appropriate challenges for each individual. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. I'll just pull up my screen here. Let me know when we're good to go there and we've got the screen. Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. As said, my name is Andy, and I have been with the City of Calgary forever and a day. I started teaching fitness classes back in the 1900s, and it was the job that I have continued on to this day. And through my growth with the city, I have brought myself up to a point now where I've been doing supervising roles for fitness instructors as well as continuing my own practice. So I have been involved and loving all of this research that Bobby Ann has presented to you so far today, both in my own personal practice as an instructor and also in my ability to skill and lead other instructors who are learning. So I'm hoping to share some of those experiences with you today. In my time with City of Calgary, I have had the grand pleasure of seeing a lot of this research that Bobby Ann referenced today in progress with City of Calgary. Back in 2018, we started participating in some of the social support and social barriers research that was done. This led into further research looking at two social ties that support partnerships and physical activities. Through 2020, we had the opportunity, I'll say, to see what social impacts we had based on COVID-19 and people being taken away from some of those social spaces. And of course, this current project that Bobby Ann has been sharing with you today. So within City of Calgary, one of the things that I love most about our facilities is the small community aspect of these facilities. Like I said, I started teaching back when I was 18, almost 30 years ago, and I started at the city mostly because my dad was a participant in City of Calgary classes since I was a kid, and he encouraged me to apply. And my father, who's now 76, is still a participant at our City of Calgary locations, much like, as you can see from these images, much like many of our participants who have been with us as they have grown. They have stayed with us. And a large part of that has to do with the community that they feel within the participants that they have. And I was in a conversation even just last night with someone who was saying, you know what, I've never been an exerciser. It's never been part of my self identity. And honestly, I feel scared when I think about even being in a gym. And then she was talking about, but I might be able to come to that community rec center that's a city location just down the road because it doesn't feel as scary. And I think that's one of the things that we do so well with our participants is really building that sense of community. And the research that has been highlighted today has really brought to light the understanding of how and why that helps us so much. So our instructors that we hire are all Fitness Alberta certified or an equivalent certification. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on is always doing some continuing education. You can see this instructor down here in this image. Her name is Naz, and I hired her many, many years ago when she first moved to City of Calgary. And one of the things that she has repeatedly said to me over the years is, you know, Andy, nowhere else at any of the other places that I work or have worked have I ever gotten as much feedback as we get in our annual reviews and regular conversations with our supervisors here. And I think it was last year, possibly the year before, she was actually one of Idea Fitness Magazine's Instructor of the Year finalists after all of the time that she has been growing as instructor herself. And in this image, you can see she is leading one of our gentle fitness classes. And we mentioned our gentle fitness programming. And this is something that I went through and created for City of Calgary back in 2016, I believe. We've also had partnership with Alberta Health Services and their Healthy Living program for many, many years. And when they were transitioning participants from health practice health practice exercise into community practice exercise, there was a little bit of clinicians weren't knowing where and how to recommend participants to exercise programming, because we've always had gentle fitness, but what is, you know, a gentle fitness to myself or to Sarah or to Bobby Ann might be very different than what is gentle fitness to my father, which is very different than gentle fitness for my mother-in-law, who is much less well. So we went through and stratified our programs into a 3-tiered system of gentle fitness programming, which we have labeled our gentle fitness, which we now have a legal mark on that title. And part of this is we do some detailed training for our instructors, where we ensure that our instructors are all very clear on what each of the levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3, entails in terms of participants' skills and abilities, what are the top levels of intensities that they can offer for these participants in order that we are keeping them safe and in a place where they feel both physically and psychologically safe to participate in those classes. And it's been fabulous. We've had such great feedback and such a sense of security for our participants when they come into a class knowing this is a level 1 class. This is for me, and I'm going to be safe in this place. And our level 1 are people who have our biggest barriers to being active. Level 2, people who may have some barriers to being active. And level 3 are what I like to affectionately refer to as our don't jump up and down anymore fitness crews, right? So these are our folks who generally don't have a lot of barriers to being active. And if you'd like to see more information on what these levels are, of course, I've put the website where you can find that in there, calgary.ca/gentle fitness, all one word. And we've really found in our experiences that the social component, as Bobby Ann has said, is incredibly important in all of these classes and in our general fitness classes, but especially so within our groups that have more barriers to traditional fitness, so our level 1s and level 2s. A couple of examples I can think of many times when we've brought a participant into, you know, one of our level 1 classes, and it was almost, I'm gonna jokingly say, mobbing her with love when we brought her into the room, because these people in these level 1 classes, they'll come 20-30 minutes before class and visit together in the lobby, and then set up each other's equipment and support each other and help each other. And when someone new comes into the room, they're just enveloped into that group and that community. And I remember there was one participant who his health was declining for a while, and so he was actually at a space where he could not participate in fitness, even in our gentle classes. He still came. He would be on transit for close to 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours each way, and he came simply to sit in the lobby and visit with participants before class, sit and hang out during class, and then visit with participants again after class. which really highlights the importance of this social component within our fitness communities and just as social creatures in general, that need for community that we have. And I mentioned a few times the continuing education and how we are always supporting our instructors in learning. And one thing that we do for for our instructors every year is we have a free conference that we offer that we call our Rec Day. And you can see, I don't know if you can read it up here, but it says Recognize, Educate, Celebrate. So we call it our Rec Day for our instructors. And this is a place where they can come together and take workshops, earn CECs, learn from each other, network with each other. And last year, I actually presented a session for them that was titled Fitness Professional as a Role Model, based on all of this wonderful information that Bobby Ann was sharing with us earlier today. And it was so well attended, and the wonderful communication and the wonderful ideas and brainstorming that we had in that workshop, where instructors who are really caring for their participants were really looking for great ways to be able to further their soft skills, I'll call them, as fitness instructors when they were working with their participants. So this image here, I would love to share with you. This was just this year, actually, during Active Aging Week. And this is a class at Shoaldice Aquatic and Recreation Center. And our instructor said, here's what we're going to do. During Active Aging Week, we are going to have, after our class, a throwback to our graduation. So we're going to do graduating again. If you still have your grad outfit, wear it. If you don't, bring something else. And you can see there's everything from ball gowns to fun sunglasses to bunny rabbit ears. And they set up upstairs in another room. They had all of these wonderful decorations with the the tinsels, and they had snacks that everybody shared, and coffee and tea, and just, I mean, look at everybody's face. Who doesn't want to go to a fitness opportunity that ends in in this sort of beautiful practice? And you can see from the photo here, a lot of these participants, like I mentioned earlier, have been practicing fitness for decades. And in our first 2 to 3 decades of life, our participation in fitness may be more for an athletic or aesthetic purpose, but later we do switch towards functional goals and feel good goals and aging well goals. And when we start to look at what those kind of magic bullets are for health span and lifespan, we know that fitness and physical activity is so important. And specific measures like our VO2 or our grip strength, or how blue zones have shown us the importance of walking, especially with others. And other studies, such as the Harvard study of adult development, these longitudinal studies have shown us that health and happiness, one of the biggest identifiers we can see, is quality of relationships. And these pieces of research that Bobby Ann has highlighted today really bring together where we can do both in one space. We can have building of quality relationships and fitness together in one space. And I don't know if you can see from the look on my face, this excites me so much that we can do both of these things in one. And we get, as Bobby Ann mentioned, consistency. We know that being consistent in our physical activity is almost, I would argue, more important than what you do. Yes, let's get into the details of, if we're training for something specific, we need to be very detailed about what our activity is. But if we're looking for longevity, we need to be active every day. And when we are in a space where it's fun, we have people we want to be with in that supportive environment, we of course have improved consistency. Why wouldn't we want to go to some of these activities, like my dad, who's been going for decades to these classes? So when we have this fitness that is mixed with fun and community, and when this fun and community isn't just passive, but is facilitated by our instructors and our facility staff, then we really get this Shangri-La space where we have the chance to impact in participants in their health and wellness through all aspects of their life. Now, as someone who's been a fitness instructor myself for literally decades, and someone who has supported fitness instructors in their growth, I'd like to take an opportunity to highlight the importance of ensuring that we are nurturing our instructors as they continue to grow, and that we are giving some mentorship from supervisors. And so if you are someone who is a fitness instructor, especially if you're a newer instructor who's looking at this and thinking, oh my goodness, like there's so much I need to do. I need to plan and make sure I'm touching on all areas of movement and do an appropriate warm up and make sure that I've got enough cardio time, enough, am I cueing this, am I cueing that, all of these different details. And now I have to think about social aspect. Oh my gosh, how can I do all these things? It's okay. We can take these things one thing at a time. And one of the things that I love about the recommendations that Bobby Ann has here, and go back through her slides, look at all of those details that she has listed in there, because there are different skills that we can bring into use no matter where we're at. And greeting people and learning names is something that we might be able to use at any stage, whether we're brand new or we've been here forever. And maybe it takes more time to learn how to change leveled objects, or pardon me, leveled options into meaningful options for our different participants, or advancing our encouragement into something that's going to be more mastery feedback. We will be able to get there. And if you're someone who supports instructors, offer them an appropriate challenge as well, where they can start to bring these skills into their classes. And this is one thing that I love so much about these pieces of information that Bobby has really brought to light. And makes my heart sing. I don't know if you can tell or not. It makes my heart sing when I do when I think about what a positive impact we can have on these participants, and or on our instructors, if we're someone who supervises instructors. And so I'll stop talking now because I get so excited about this. If you have any further questions and would like to reach me, this is where you can find me. Thank you so much for your time, and do go back and take a look at all those details that Bobby Ann had up on her slides.
Wow, that's fantastic, Andy. I couldn't say that any better myself. That's very inspiring, and just that whole like that research into practice, and it's doable. It's it seems it can seem kind of overwhelming, but you just take that first step, second step, and it's doable, and that's what's meaningful, and that's what motivates those adults and older adults to be active and get better engaged in physical activity in their communities. So thank you. And we'll move now next to our final speaker is Sarah Cook, who's a disability studies professional with additional certifications in healthcare and therapeutic recreation. As manager of the Adult Day program at Kirby Center, Sarah is dedicated to creating an environment where older adults with disabilities and cognitive decline can thrive physically, cognitively, socially, and emotionally. Welcome, Sarah.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. As they stated, I am Sarah Cook. I'm the manager at the Kirby Center Adult Day program. We are a wellness program, and I am so pleased to be here today to share how myself and my staff integrate the training that we received into our Adult Day program. And I just wanted to start with talking about piggybacking off of what Andy said about how invaluable this training and this initiative is. It allows us as professionals to create practical tools and integrate falls prevention strategies into our ADP programming in a way that feels natural, fun, and is engaging for our clients. In our ADP specifically, we focus on encouraging our clients to positively engage in exercise by combining balance and mobility exercises and different activities that all spark joy and creativity as well as social connection. This helps keep our clients not only physically active, but also motivated to participate regularly. As Andy said, if people know your name, you want to come, you want to be where you feel welcomed and you feel comfortable, and you don't feel embarrassed. Example, instead of simply marching in place for our clients that can't get up out of their wheelchairs or can't be get cardio in, instead of marching in place, we make it interactive. We say, where are we going today? Where are we traveling to today? Are we hiking? Are we traveling? Are we exploring our favorite place? And this gets our clients not only moving in and out of their chairs, but it gets them talking about meaningful memories while also practicing their balance and others practicing their strength. When we do our rowing movements, we turn into a sing along with row, row, row your boat. You'd be surprised at how much energy and laughter this brings into the room. We also weave humor into our exercises. Between stretches or deep breathing exercises or activities, we tell jokes or puns that we've printed off from different resources. And it's just a simple way that lightens the mood and helps keep the spirits high among everybody who's involved in the exercise. I'll go to the next slide, please. To make sure that everybody feels included, we encourage our participants to take turns counting repetitions in their own language. And this not only builds engagement, but also celebrates the cultural diversity that we have in our program. And it gets us all learning a little bit about who else we're in the group with. We play the alphabet game while we're exercising in circles. So, for example, we'll name foods that start with each letter of the alphabet while completing the movement. And this not only keeps your brain active, but it helps while the body is moving. So you're doing the two together. Another one of our favorites is our parachute beach ball buzz game. The participants pass the ball around while asking questions or coming up with fun categories. It helps keep it playful while still working on your coordination and your reaction time at the program. So we also don't forget about the smaller details, like our facial exercises. We use vowel sounds, which are not only great for your facial muscles, but they also make us laugh. So that's lots of fun. We also make cheering each other on part of our program. If one client is participating in an activity, others are encouraged to cheer them on. It helps build the confidence, build the community. It also builds a sense of their accomplishment and makes them want to do those things. All of these little touches help us translate our falls prevention knowledge into our daily practice, and they turn what can feel like a routine exercise into something that's enjoyable, social, and meaningful. This way, our clients are not only strengthened, they're not strengthening their bodies, but they're also boosting their mood, their confidence, and their connection to each other as well. I'll go to the next slide, please. And I think the results speak for themselves. So we took recent feedback from our adult day programs, from our clients, excuse me, and this indicates the positive outcomes that we have since we've incorporated this type of exercise into our daily activity and exercise programs. 81% of our adult day programs said that being here, of our adult day program participants, being here said that our exercises improve their strength. 77% said it increases their confidence. 75% said they have an enhanced mood after they're done. And 77% said that they feel a stronger social connection just by being in our adult day program and taking part in exercises and activities like this. 58% of the shared feedback left constructive comments for program staff and myself as the manager, so that we can always tailor our program ideas, our exercise ideas to their feedback and enhance and strengthen our physical and social programs moving forward. So I think that the knowledge from this was invaluable, and we do it every day in our adult day program. So that's where I'll leave it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bobby Ann. Thank you, Shelley. And yeah.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. All your talks just speak to the value of that participating in person. Fitness videos are great. They're a great option, but you don't get that kind of social support, that sense of belonging, that sense of community, and the list goes on and on. So important to be join the community. and join the fitness community with all those extra benefits that go along with it. And so great to see such spirit within the fitness leader community as well. So do we have any questions out there? I'm not seeing anything in my Q&A box. There's 17 of you still with us. Everybody's wowed because this is such excellent, research and excellent information, and the practical application is there, right? It just makes sense. I think it's likely pretty natural for most people, but you've also put a lot of thought into this and creativity, right? And creativity breeds creativity, right? So and you get that energy. It generates energy and further creativity with that kind of connection with the exercisers themselves, and it kind of speaks to the importance of with age-friendly communities too, right? And being active and focusing on the needs of whether it's middle-aged adults or older adults, and quite timely as well, because yesterday was the release of our Canadian adult participation report card for 2025. And it just speaks this all your information and presentation just speaks to the importance of physical activity holistically, and how unfortunately there's only 46% of older adults, Canadians are meeting those guidelines, and they're missing out on some great offerings within whether it be within the Kirby Center in the city of Calgary and throughout the province with those trained fitness leaders. So I hope we can see, improvement in that scoring in the future with all the great work that's being done to really, we have an aging population, right? And it's just so essential to really focus on what the needs of that population are and how we can meet those needs. And you've laid it out fully here, kind of what needs to happen. We just need more of this happening throughout the country. So there is I see a couple questions here now. So Tracy says, nothing specific, but this content was incredible and so valuable. And Greg also says, yes, great information. And Tracy says, I love all the fun ways to engage during the fitness classes and can't wait to do the facial vowel exercises, obviously herself with her class. So that's awesome. And I love that idea of counting in different languages and for like the other participants to learn different languages, like at least just through the counting, or even could do that with the alphabet too, right? So and oh, okay. So I'm not seeing any more questions. We still have a couple minutes.
Shelley, can I
Yeah,
just jump in and say
yeah.
something
I was
like,
going to say any thoughts from our panel.
yeah, like
Yes.
I guess from the research side, like sometimes we're just, we're so focused on the research, and it's awesome that we have community partnerships to actually get this information out into the community, because sometimes it feels like we're finding all this information, but for what? And then to see the actual practical implications of
Yeah.
what's coming from it, like just myself hearing Andy and Sarah talk today, it was yeah, very heartwarming and just exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the work is out there and getting implemented in the community. So I appreciate everything that you both do.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. I want to just unmute just to say thank you, Bobby Ann, because it's I am not lying when I say that the information gained from it, it just helped me tailor our programs on the floor, and it just you can really see a difference in our the participation and just the, like I said, the overall mood of all of our senior clients that are in the program. So, and like I said at the beginning, this is a wellness program, so that can be harder to tailor to than like a dementia program.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Well, and thank you for, connecting that the importance of physical activity and social supports with falls prevention too, because we really want to reduce those fall rates, and exercise in that kind of supportive setting is exactly how we do that. And so, yeah, we just need to continue to build further momentum and just awareness and knowledge of what that needs to look like. So thank you all for all the great programs and such that you're offering. So I think our time is kind of up here. So thank you all for joining us today. And for more information and updates, please subscribe to our Finding Balance e-newsletter, which is called the Balance Bulletin, and you can find that on our website. And we have a number of resources that support physical activity and falls prevention, and those include, as you can see in this slide, Spot the Hazard, our everyday exercise program, our Keeping Well book, our band exercise for older adults, and coming soon in February will be our new Actively Aging booklet, which includes an exercise series and other tips and strategies for falls prevention and active living. Oh, we just had one other comment there. Uh, Great information. The research is applicable to community exercise programs, is so needed and relevant for our older adult population. And the slides will be available on Finding Balance website once we've got those shared and up. So thank you very much. The survey is being posted in the chat box, so it's available when you close your Zoom window. So if you could please take a couple minutes to complete that, we'd appreciate it. And thank you so much for our speakers today and our attendees for joining us and learning this invaluable information. And you've given us inspiration and all the best, and I look forward to hearing more about your programs and success in the future. Thank you.